Hi, I'm Michael Roub from Inflection 360, and today I want to talk about corporate culture and the value of working as a team and the benefit that has for all employees and the business overall. Earlier this morning, I was speaking with one of my clients who's actually looking at the acquisition of a competitor. One of the concerns is about the change in the number of clients, the turnover of clients over the last few years, and what that says about the business going forward, and frankly, what it says about the culture of the business as it stands today. Clearly, a business that is continually churning customers is one where the culture needs to be analyzed and understanding, is the customer getting valued properly, and how is the team, how are all of the employees treating all the customers, and are they placing the proper value on them? It took me back to years ago when I was running surgery centers. One center that I ran in particular saw almost 800 patients a month. It was a very busy place. And we had 50 employees, 40 physician partners, and just a lot of activity every day. I was responsible for the profit and loss, the P&L of the business, and the management of the staff, and dealing with all the partnership issues that emerged with doctors in the practice. All those things were really important to the overall success of the business, but on a day-to-day basis, was I impacting the perception of the value of coming to our surgery center for one of our clients, for one of the patients? And the answer is generally no, other than factoring in the culture that we had fostered in the organization. As we all know, customer experience is extremely important. In our business, patients, being our customers, were given a survey, which they would complete at home sometime after their surgery. From that, we were able to understand how we performed as an overall team, but also gave them the opportunity to recognize certain individuals that made a critical difference in their experience. In all my years of running surgery centers, my name was never once mentioned in any of those surveys. Why would it be? I ran the center, or I ran the centers that we had, but I wasn't part of the patient experience. I played a role in that, but not anything that was seen outwardly by a patient. Instead, we always had three individuals that stood out amongst all others. And while we had great nurses, great surgical technicians, and incredible doctors who were the reason they were at the surgery center in the first place, it was my receptionist and my two orderlies that took patients to their vehicles after the surgery that were almost always cited for being a positive experience from the patient perspective. In looking at why the receptionist and the orderly were the ones that received the most praise or the most patient response, it's really quite simple. They were the first interaction and the last interaction with the patient. And that's critical in customer experience. In our case, a patient walked in the door nervous, not wanting to have a procedure or a surgery performed, and our receptionist was very professional, very friendly, made them calm, made them feel like they were going to be okay. Immediately, that name and that face and that person was somebody that they were going to remember. From there, they went into the preoperative room to get ready for a surgery. That's, again, the nerves rise again. They're starting to get IVs poked in them, start taking some anesthesia, things that are not pleasant, and ultimately with the anesthesia, they're not going to remember their experience for a while. The great nurses and techs in the room, they're really not going to remember it all because they were not conscious. So you have so many great staff that aren't rewarded for their efforts from a patient perspective, but they're all part of the bigger team. And finally, when a patient recovers from the procedure, the last people they deal with are the orderlies who help them get dressed and safely get to their vehicle. Again, warmly greeted, handled gently, being treated very well. The last experience of that visit. Huge difference. Those roles were critical in our business. I should say they were also two of our lowest paying roles. So when you talk about what's valuable in a business, it isn't always titles and salaries that drive the best outcomes. It's the performance of the team and all, and everyone playing a role. And in our surgery centers, very busy, very profitable businesses, couple of the roles that played the most prominent customer service role were our lowest level employees. So what made that work? Well, it starts with having a good culture, people feeling valued, everyone playing their part, but fostering a positive overall work environment. Those people worked very hard for us and made a big difference, but everyone else along the way and behind the scenes was making the entire engine run. But certainly on any given day, if I were not going to be at the center, business would run as usual. But if my receptionists were out, or one or more, or two of the orderlies were out, and other people were filling those roles, we could have some disruption in the patient experience. People who are not as adept at caring for those customers on a daily basis. So how do you value all the roles of your team? It's important as an owner or manager, obviously, to foster a culture where everybody is valued. And it never helps to place yourself on a pedestal, because you're then losing sight of really who's important in the organization. The answer should be everyone. But on a given day, from a patient perspective, the receptionist and the orderlies made the biggest difference of all. We could never function without our nurses and other team. They were incredible and extremely valuable, and us as management recognized that. But patients, in this case customers, are only going to come back to a place if they've had a positive experience. If they walk in the door and their immediate experience is negative, obviously they're in a surgery, they're not going to walk out the door, but other businesses they might. And if when they're leaving they have a negative experience, they're never going to want to come back. So that first interaction and that last interaction are extremely important. And having the right people in those roles is absolutely critical. So I frequently reminded myself when running those centers, who's the most important person here today? And it was never me in my answers. But I worked really hard to make all those people feel valued. And that culture of we're all part of a bigger organization, we're all part of a team here, we fostered that with a lot of other activities and offsite dinners and get-togethers and ways to really build a team and a culture in our organization that made people want to work hard and make customers, in this case patients, and even our doctors feel extremely valued. So, the end of this, the point I'm trying to make here is, as an owner, it's when you get immersed in your business, it's often very easy to focus on what you need on a daily basis to get your tasks done, to get your financials in order, to maximize performance, to make sure you have the supplies on hand for your business, whatever it takes to make the business run. But don't lose sight of the people that are actually the customer experience, the ones who are making a difference, that turn a one-time customer into a repeat customer, because that's where you're going to get a really valuable outcome for you and for your business. So I leave you with that. Corporate culture is extremely important, and as management or as an owner, you need to foster that in your organization, making people feel valued and part of something bigger than just themselves. From that, you'll get tremendous value. And also remind yourself, stay humble and value everyone from the highest level to the lowest level employees, because they drive customer experience, they drive revenue, they drive repeat customers. They are your most valuable assets on a daily basis. So make sure you make them understand that they're appreciated. And if somebody feels appreciated, they'll obviously work very hard for you to make a big difference in your organization. I welcome the opportunity to speak with you or any members of your management team to understand your business and ways that Inflection 360 can help you thrive. Thank you.